Hello again, my amazing art students. This video is for my 4th and 5th graders. We are now on to week 2 of our remote learning lessons. So real quickly, I'm going to go over their learning goals and then the activity that you're going to complete for today. So our learning goal for this project is number 1. Again, texture in art can be a tricky thing to define. It can mean how something feels, that's the actual texture, or how something looks like it would feel. And we call that implied texture. You have all been doing a fantastic job so far from what I have seen, creating that implied texture with your use of lines and even some value. Great job so far. So our learning goal for this time, students will use their understanding of texture and their creativity and imagination to give an ordinary object an unexpected or unusual texture. So your activity for this lesson is to give an object an unexpected texture. So let's go through. We already did our crazy fingers. There's my example. And let me get out my clean sheet of paper. Oh, and I forgot, look, on the back side of the crazy fingers is our unexpected texture lesson. So we're going to draw a found object and give it an unexpected texture. That's something that you're not going to find naturally. The example here is an apple, and obviously they made that apple really hairy, which is hilarious and kind of gross. So 1, find an object you would like to draw and place it in front of you on white paper. Lightly draw your found object from life using observational skills. That means I want you to actually find an object, put it on a piece of paper, and then look at it, think about it, then draw it. Observation is just a big fancy word for looking and thinking about something. Number 2, firm up your initial sketch lines and erase any lines not needed. You may want to add further detail to your drawing. And you'll see with the example given, this artist started with some loose, sketchy lines, and then they went back and refined some of those lines. 3, choose an unexpected or unusual texture for your object. Begin by adding the texture densely around the perimeter to create a darker area for shading. So what that means is you want to close together draw your texture lines. The closer you draw your texture lines together, the darker it will be, and that darkness will create shading. 4, as you work toward the areas where the light is hitting your object, you can add your texture sparingly to create less dense and lighter area to create value in your unusual art piece. So you'll see around the edges of this apple, the artist drew the hairy texture lines close together. When you draw your lines close together, they make a darker value. But where the light was hitting the apple, the artist did not draw the lines close together. They're sparse, more spread out. That creates the illusion of a highlight where the light is hitting your object the brightest. Darkest area, brightest area. And so this is sort of like a 2-for-1 project for you boys and girls. You are playing around with creating texture, but you can also play around with value, creating that darkness and lightness in your object. All right, I need to go find an object. I'll be right back.